Morning, dear devotees. Please accept my humble obeisances to your lotus feet. All glory to Srila Prabhupada. I am your humble servant today and always. Okay, so I'm going to chant Jayarada Madhava to start class. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Shri Radha Damodar ki jai. All glory to the assembled devotees. Okay. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namakesham Naram Shaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Yarsam Tato Jayamuriraye Nasta Praya Svapatrishu Sloke Nisyam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Yastama Sloke Bhakti Bhavati Naisiki. So, today we are reading from Canto 6, Chapter 1, Cantus Chapter 1, The History of the Life of Ajamil. And so we are reading text 3, 4, 5 today. Okay. Okay. I will just read the Sanskrit. Yeah, I will read through the Sanskrit word by word translation of text 3, and do the same on text 4, but we're going to discuss more on text 4 and 5. Text 3. Adama Lakshana Naraka Januvanita Mavantaraja Vyakyata Adyasvayambhuvo Yata Adama Lakshana Naraka Januvanita Manvantaraja Vyakyata Adyasvayambhuvo Yata Adama Lakshana symptomized by impious activities. Nana various Narakaha hells shall also Anuvanitaha have been described. Manu Antara, the change of Manu in one day Brahma, there are 14 Manus. Shall also Vyakyataha has been described. Adya, the original, Svayambhuva, directly the son of Lord Brahma, Yata, wherein. Translation. You have also described at the end of the 5th canto the varieties of hellish life that result from impious activities, and you have described in the 4th canto the first Manvantara, which were presided over by Svayambhuva Manu, the son of Lord Brahma. Text 4 and 5. Priyaratotana Pado Vamshatak Charitani Cha Vipavasha Samudra Trinagyo Yana Vanaspatin Taramandala Santhanam Bhagalakshana Manata Yurtisham Vivaranam Chaya Tedam Arisha Vibhu Piya Vradotana Pado Vamshatak Chatrita Nicha Vipavasha Samudra Trinayo Yana Vanaspatin Dharamandala Samtanam Bhagalakshana Manata Yotisham Vivaranam Jaya Thedama Susyas Vibhu. Words by word translation. Priyavrata, Apriyavrata, Uttanapada, and of Uttanapada, Vamsha, the dynasty, that Charitani, their characteristics, Cha also, Viva, different planets, Varsha, lands, Samudra, oceans and seas, Adri, mountains, Nadi, rivers, Uyana, gardens, Vanaspatin in trees, Taramandala of the planet Earth, Samsthanam situation, Bhaga according to divisions, Lakshana different symptoms, Manataha and measurements, Jyotisham of the sun and other luminaries, Vivaranam of the lower planetary systems, Ja and Yatha as Idam this Avrajat created Vibhu, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Translation. My dear Lord, you have described the dynasties and characteristic of King Priyavrata and King Uttanapada. The Supreme Personality of Godhead created this material world with various universes, planetary system, planets, and stars, with varied lands, seas, oceans, mountains, river, gardens, and trees, all with different characteristics. These are divided among this planet Earth, the luminaries in the sky, and the lower planetary systems. You have very clearly described these planets and the living entities who live on them. Purport. Here the word Yathedam Anavichan Vibhu clearly indicate that the Supreme, the Great Almighty Personality of Godhead created this entire material world with its different varieties of planets, stars, and so forth. Atheists try to conceal the hand of God, which is present in every creation, but they cannot explain how all this creation could come into existence without a competent intelligence and almighty power behind them. Simply to imagine or speculate is a waste of time. In Bhagavad Gita 10:8, the Lord says, Aham Savasha Prabhavo, I am the origin of everything. Mata Savam Prabhatate, whatever exists in the creation emanates from me. Iti Madhva Bhajanti Mam Buddha Bhavashamanvita. Whatever exists in the creation emanates from me. When one fully understands that I create everything by my omnipotence, one becomes firmly situated in devotional service and fully surrendered at my lotus feet. Okay, I will read it again. When one fully understands that I create everything by my omnipotence, one becomes firmly situated in devotional service and fully surrenders at my lotus feet. Unfortunately, the unintelligent cannot immediately understand Krishna's supremacy. Nonetheless, if they associate with devotees and read authorized books, they may gradually come to the proper understanding, although this may take many, many births. As Krishna said in the Bhagavad Gita, Bhavanam Janmanam Ante Jnanavan Papayate Vasudeva Sava Iti Samahatma Shudulabha. After many births and deaths, he who is actually in knowledge surrenders unto me, knowing me to be the cause of all causes and all that is. Such a great soul is very rare. Vasudeva Krishna is the creator of everything, and his energy is displayed in various ways. And explained in Bhagavad Gita 7:4-5, a combination of the material energy, Bhumi Apona Loya Vayu, and the spiritual energy, the living entities, exists in every creation. Therefore, the same principle, the combination of the Supreme Spirit and the material elements, is the cause of the cosmic manifestation. Wow, this purport is so rich. I will read the translation again. My dear Lord, you have described the dynasties and characteristic of King Priyavrata and King Uttanapana. The Supreme Personality of God had created this material world with various universes, planetary system, planets and stars, with varied lands, sea, oceans, mountains, river, gardens, and trees, all with different characteristics. These are divided among this planet Earth, the luminary in the sky, and the lower planetary system. You have very clearly described these planets and the living entities who live on them. Dear devotee, please join me in chanting the Mangacharan prayers so we can all get some nourishing spiritual transcendental knowledge today by Krishna grace. Om Makyanti Mirandasha Gananjana Shalakaya Chakshun Militan Yena Tasma Shri Gurave Namah Shri Chaitanya Mano Bistam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Svayam Rupa Karamayam Darati Svaparantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yutapada Kamalam Shri Gurun Bhaisavam Cha Shri Rupam Shakrajatam Sahagana Raghunantam Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parishana Shahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Param Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakam Shah. Hey Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Shakapate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namustate Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radha Vindavaneswari Vishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Bhattaya Bhattare Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Iti Namane Namaste Sarvati Devi Gauravani Pasharine Nirvishesha Sundhavadi Vajayari Satarine Panchakapatru Vishakvipa Sindhu Vyavachapati Tanam Pavane Vyo Vaishnavi Vyo Namo Namo Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Shiva Sari Gaura Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Hare. Jai, all glory to Srila Prabhupada for this wonderful transcendental purport. So I prepare a few purport and verses that I want to read today, so then we have more understanding of how the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, is the origin of all creations and the cause of all causes. But at the beginning, I like to just break down a little bit what understanding that I was given by Krishna Mercy through reading this verse. So in the translation, I think this is Sukadev Goswami is speaking. So he said that the Supreme Personality of Godhead created this material world with various universes, planetary system, planet and stars, with very land, sea, ocean, mountains, river, gardens, and tree, with all with different characteristics. And these are divided among this planet Earth, the luminaries in the sky, and I understand the luminary in the sky as the heavenly planets. So all these different variegatedness of the beautiful wonder of nature that exists in this material world, including the heavenly planets, the planet Earth, and the lower planetary systems. And it's fascinating to think that we see very wonderful creations, just so beautiful creation in this material world, especially related to when it comes to nature, the beauty of nature. Sometimes in the morning when the sun comes out, or the sky get different shades of color, or just the gray mountains. It's just different, very, very beautiful natural scene that we see in this material, at least even just on this planetary Earth. We already see so many wonderful, beautiful planetary scenery. And it's fascinating for the atheists to think that all of this just come from nowhere. It's just fascinating that how could that be possible? How could everything just kind of come out of nowhere to be in such delicate, intricate organization of how the universe function, how the sun comes, move around their orbit, how the moon, like it's just like so intricate organization of how everything function in this planet Earth, not let alone like all the other planetary system. And then the atheists can still believe that all of these wonderful organization is just from nothing, from nowhere. It's just fascinating. How could that be even possible for them to accept that? Because just like when we sit in front of a very beautiful painting, uh, then we understand that behind all those very beautiful artistic uh, features on the painting, we understand that behind it there must be a person who make those. So, like in the purport today, Srila Prabhupada wrote, atheists try to conceal the hand of God, which is present in every creation, but they cannot explain how all this creation could come into existence without competent intelligence or almighty power behind them. And um, so, so yeah, so as devotee, it's quite easy for us to accept that, yeah, of course, behind this creation is the hand of God, and even the Christianity, the Christian people, they can also accept that God is the creator. But then, how God is a creator, that is kind of like a mystery for us, right? Like even I don't know how much knowledge that Christian people may have in terms of how does the material world come into place, which is why Krishna says here that he said that I am the origin of everything. Aham sarvasya prabhavo. I am the origin of everything. And whatever exists in the creation emanates from me. What does that mean? What does that mean to understand that whatever exists in this creation emanates from Krishna? And um, and I'm getting excited to read some verses in the second canto to illustrate these points, because even with our tiny, tiny brain by Srila Prabhupada Mercy, he still give us just kind of like some understanding of how things exist in this material world. And I think there's so much more and more and more layer and deep understanding behind that, because God is able to create this whole universe, this different many, this whole material cosmic manifestation. And so we may try to understand, but we may not get to understand even like fully. Even Brahma himself cannot understand that there's also other in other planetary systems. So it's inconceivable. But by Krishna mercy, by Srila Prabhupada's grace, we are able to understand just a little bit of his of Krishna various various energies manifestation. And then the Srila Prabhupada quote this verse in the purport that when one fully understands that I create everything by my omnipotence, then one becomes firmly situated in devotional service and fully surrender at my lotus feet. Unfortunately, the unintelligent cannot immediately understand Krishna's supremacy. I can see myself as the unintelligent person, that I may not actually have the ability or have the intelligence to understand Krishna's supremacy fully. But here Krishna say, actually, Prabhupada, nonetheless, if they associate with devotees and read authorized books, they may gradually come to the proper understanding, although this may take many births. So I see myself in one of this. This is not only about, as I see it, as I understand it, it's not about only the non-devotees who are not practicing Krishna consciousness. I can see myself in this, that yes, I'm associated with devotees. Yes, I'm reading authorized books. And I'm trying to come to a proper understanding, but it may still take many births. Srila Prabhupada is very clear here. And so Srila Prabhupada goes on to quote a verse in the Bhagavad Gita 7:19, that after many births and deaths, one who is actually in knowledge, surrender unto me, knowing me to be the cause of all causes and all that is. So after many births and death, one who is actually in knowledge, one who actually in knowledge, not just one who has knowledge or one who know the knowledge, but one who is actually in knowledge. Srila Prabhupada uses very, very carefully. One who's actually in knowledge surrenders unto me, knowing me to be the cause of all causes and all that is. And such a great soul is very rare. So this Bhagavad Gita 7:19 verse is very similar to the verses that Srila Prabhupada quote earlier when Krishna says that when one fully understands that I create everything by my omnipotence, then one can become firmly situated in devotional service and fully surrender at my lotus feet. So these two verses are very, very similar to one another. And so as my attempt today, I'm trying to kind of deepen my own understanding of how Krishna is the cause of all causes. And what does that mean? That, or why, when we know, why when one fully understands that Krishna created everything, then one can become firmly situated in devotional service and fully surrender to his lotus feet. Why understanding Krishna to be the cause of all causes can help one become fully surrendered unto Krishna. So kind of those are my contemplation as I was preparing for this class. And yeah, I pray to be somewhat of service to the devotee that way. Yeah, how do we get to this full understanding that Krishna is the cause of all causes, and what does that mean to say that Krishna is the cause of all causes? So here, Srila Prabhupada actually give us a little bit of insight right here too in the purport today. Srila Prabhupada, after saying that, after many births and deaths, after quoting the Bhagavad Gita 7:19, after many births and deaths, who actually acknowledge surrender unto me, knowing me to the cause of all cause and all that is. And then Srila Prabhupada goes on to explain, Vasudeva Krishna is the creator of everything, and his energy is displayed in various ways. So basically, Krishna's Srila Prabhupada is explaining that, yes, Krishna is the creator of everything, and he does that through his various energy. So Srila Prabhupada right here explaining, okay, this is how you get to understand a little bit more about how Krishna is the cause of all causes. That yes, he's a creator of everything, and his energy is displayed in various ways. As explained in Bhagavad Gita 7:4-5, a combination of material energy and the spiritual energy, the living entity exists in every creation. So here Srila Prabhupada is explaining that how does yeah, this is very interesting. I get a little bit like excited. Because what I was thinking originally was that Srila Prabhupada is explaining that what is consisting of this material manifestation is the material energy and the living entities and the spiritual energy. Yeah. So yes, a combination of the material energy, the spiritual energy, and the living entities exists in every creation. So basically, that is how Krishna, in a very kind of like broad understanding of how this material manifestation come into place, this is the combination of material energy, the spiritual energy, and the living entity. So Srila Prabhupada give a kind of broad understanding that we can at least understand one portion of how this manifestation is consists of, and they all consist of Krishna energy. Therefore, the same principle, the combination of the Supreme Spirit and the material elements is the cause of the cosmic manifestation. So Srila Prabhupada can conclude with that. So this is kind of, Srila Prabhupada is so expert in explaining to us very detailed. And so I like to expand this a little bit more. Expand this a little bit more. So I was looking up and it came out that Canto 2, Chapter 5 is all about the cause of all causes. So all the verses in the second canto were just, I think, if we like to kind of dive a little bit deeper, there's so many, like in the CC, there's also explanation, and also throughout the Srimad Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita, throughout all the books, how we can get deeper understanding of Krishna to be the cause of all causes. So I just pick a few verses in the second canto, 5 chapter, the cause of all causes. Maybe I read a little bit. I will share screen. Maybe that help everyone if anyone have access. Maybe that will help we follow together easier. I will share my screen. Yeah, I think I will just go on to read this. These are the knowledge that, I don't think I have. Is there any way, Agari Krishna Prabhu, that I can share my screen? If you are listening by any chance, otherwise I can just read it out loud, but and then I will send the verse in the
just
chat.
a moment.
Thank you. I feel we may not have, like, I don't know how much time we have, so there's many wonderful verses.
You can share.
Thank you so much. Okay. Okay, so this is 12:5. Can everyone see the screen, whoever has access? Okay, I will read. Okay. So 2:5:14. The 5 elementary ingredients of creation, the interaction thereof set up by eternal time, and the intuition or nature of the individual living beings are all differentiated parts and parcels of the personality of Godhead, Vasudeva, and in truth, there's no other value in them. Purport. This phenomenal world is impersonally the representation of Vasudeva, because the ingredient of its creation, the interaction, and the enjoy of the resultant action, the living beings are all produced by the external and internal energy of Lord Krishna. This is confirmed in Bhagavad Gita 7.4.5. And this is exactly also in the purport. Srila Prabhupada also quote Bhagavad Gita 7.4.5 again. So the ingredients, namely earth, water, fire, air, and sky, as well as the conception of material identity, which is the false ego, intelligence, and the mind, are produced of the external energy of the Lord. The living entities who enjoy the interaction of the above gross and subtle ingredients as set up by eternal time is an offshoot of internal potency with freedom to remain either in the material world or in the spiritual world. In the material world, the living entity is enticed by deluding nations, but in the spiritual world, he is in normal condition of spiritual existence without any delusion. The living entity is known as the marginal potency of the Lord, but in all circumstances, neither the material ingredients nor the spiritual part and parcel are independent of the personality of Godhead Vasudeva. For all things, whether products of the external, internal, or material potency of the Lord, are simply displays of the same effulgence of the Lord, just as light, heat, and smoke are display of fires. I find this that's very important. This is how we are connected and created by the Lord, in a sense. Neither the material ingredients nor the spiritual part and parcel are independent of the personality of Godhead Vasudeva. For all things, whether products of external, internal, or marginal potencies of the Lord, are simply displays of the same effulgence of the Lord. Okay, I'm getting a little excited because it's not directly from the Lord himself, but the external, internal, and marginal potency of the Lord are simply display of the same effulgence of the Lord, just as light, heat, and smoke are displays of fire. None of them is separate from the fire. All of them combine together to be called fire. Similarly, all phenomenal manifestations, as well as the effulgence of the body of Vasudeva, are his impersonal feature, whereas he eternally exists in his transcendental form called Satchit Ananda Vigraha, distinct from all conceptions of material ingredients mentioned above. So I like to kind of go a little bit into this sentence. This phenomenal world is impersonally the representation of Vasudeva. Yeah, and recently I come across Srila Prabhupada explaining that impersonal means covering. So, and only the spirit soul is a person. So everything actually, like even our body is actually impersonal, because it's temporary, because it is created from the temporary ingredients. So only the spirit soul is actually a person in this phenomenal world. Like here in this sentence, Srila Prabhupada explained that all phenomenal manifestation, as well as the effulgence of the body of Vasudeva, are his impersonal feature. So everything exists in this material world are actually impersonal because they're not real, including even the effulgence of the body in Vasudeva. And then earlier I mentioned the points about everything exists in the material world actually coming from the effulgence of the body of Krishna. And so I'm going to read one more verse. I hope I have time. Okay, 2:5:11. Wait, is that 11? That's weird because I'm at 14. Maybe it's 17. Oh yeah, it's 11. Okay, so here, Brahma, he himself does not say that he is the creator, even though many people who don't have the proper knowledge, they think that Brahma is the creator of this material universe. And yes, he is the creator of this material universe. But he himself admits here that I create after the Lord creation by his personal effulgence, known as the Brahma Yoti. Just as when the sun manifests as fire, the moon firmament, the influential planets and the twinkling stars also manifest their brightness. Okay, I will skip a few. Okay, here I read the purport. Srila Prabhupada explained the same statement is in the Bhagavad Gita 14:27. Lord Krishna is the background of the Brahma Yoti. In the Nirukti or Vedic dictionary, the import pratista is mentioned at that which establishes. So the Brahma Yoti is not independent or self-sufficient. Lord Krishna is ultimately the creator of the Brahma Yoti, mentioned in this verse, Vairostisha, or the effulgence of the transcendental body of the Lord. This Brahma Yoti is all-pervading, and all creation is made possible by its power. Therefore, the Vedic hymns declare that everything that exists is being sustained by the Brahma Yoti. Savam Kavidam Brahma. Therefore, the potent seed of all creation is the Brahma Yoti. And the same Brahma Yoti, unlimited and unfathomed, is established by the Lord. Therefore, the Lord Shri Krishna is ultimately the supreme cause of all creation. So here, Srila Prabhupada explained one layer further that, okay, there's different energy of Krishna working, but then all the material manifestation are actually resting on the, or existing or being sustained by the Brahma Yoti. But then the Brahma Yoti is the effulgence of the transcendental body of the Lord. So even though the Lord may not directly the supreme cause, I mean, he is directly the supreme cause, but how he create all the material manifestation is very, very, very detailed. Just like how the government control or sustain or even create anything in a country. So it's done through many layers. So this is another way we get to understand it a little bit more. One should not expect the Lord to create. Okay, here's your poet goes on. One should not expect the Lord to create like blacksmith with a hammer and other instruments. The Lord creates by his potencies. He has his multifarious potencies. Just as the small seed of a banyan fruit has the potency to create a big banyan tree, the Lord disseminates all varieties of seed by his potent Brahma Yoti, and the seeds are made to develop by the watering process of persons like Brahma. Brahma cannot create the seed, but he can manifest the seed into a tree, just as the gardener helps plants and orchards to grow by the watering process. The example cited here of the sun is very appropriate. In the material world, the sun is the cause of all illumination, fire, electricity, the rays of the moon, etc. All luminaries in the sky are creations of the sun. The sun is creation of Brahma Yoti, and Brahma Yoti is the effulgence of the Lord. So it's very scientific. All luminaries in the skies, or first of all the things come out from the sun, or fire, electric, the rays of the moon, all of that we experience directly in this material world. And all of this are creation of the sun. And then the sun is creation of Brahma Yoti, and Brahma Yoti is the version of the Lord. Thus, the ultimate cause of creation is the Lord. Very, very scientific, very, very almost like easy to understand and accept in a way. And interestingly, many people still don't accept that. Okay, so I read one more verse. Let's see, what time is it right now? Okay, I read one more verse to conclude. To 5:17. To conclude about, we see many different ways, like as in we as spirit soul here in the material universe, we also want to become a creator, which is why we're here in the material world. So we want to be able to control and to create independently of the Lord. We want to create our own, like even when we kind of like create a new tune of Gita, that, I mean, that's a different example because we're doing that as a service for the Lord. But in a sense, like we are all have that ability to create, not as extensive as the way Krishna create, but we also have that power to create in the material world. And it's just a matter of whether we want to choose to create something that is of service to Krishna versus create something for our own life, for our own enjoyment, separated from Krishna. And Krishna, because of a desire to create on our own, Krishna allow us to do that. You create your own destiny. You create where you want to go, what's going on after death. You create. I give you all the power to do all of that, but you create and you suffer the result. You create and you're responsible for all of that. So Krishna give it the full potential to create our own destiny, our own path in this world. At the same time, we create by our own desire, and at the same time, we're also not fully independent because we we have to follow the laws of the material natures of the most of nature. So I read about this is how Brahma create and how he used the Lord power to create in of service. So Brahma say, inspired by him only, I discover what is already created by him, Narayan, under his vision as the all-pervading super soul. And I also am created by him only. Okay, I think I would just read the whole thing in the purport. Even Brahma, the creator of the universe, admits that he is not the actual creator, but is simply inspired by the Lord Narayan, and therefore creates under his superintendence those things already created by him, the supersoul of all living entities. Two entities of soul, the supersoul and the individual soul, are admitted to be in the living entity, even by the greatest authority of the universe. The super soul is the supreme Lord, the personality of Godhead, whereas the individual soul is the eternal servitor of the Lord. The Lord inspires the individual soul to create what is already created by the Lord, by the goodwill of the Lord. A discoverer of something in the world is accredited as the discoverer. It is said that Columbus discovered the Western Hemisphere, but actually the tract of land was not created by Columbus. The vast tract of land was already there by the omnipotency of the Supreme Lord in Columbus. By dint of his past service unto the Lord, was blessed with the credit of discovering America. Similarly, no one can create anything without a sanction of the Lord, since everyone sees according to his ability. This ability is also awarded by the Lord according to one's willingness to render service unto the Lord. One must therefore be voluntarily willing to render service unto the Lord, and thus the Lord will empower the doer in proportion to his surrender unto the lotus feet of the Lord. Lord Brahma is a great devotee of the Lord, therefore he has been empowered and inspired by the Lord to create such universe as the one manifested before us. So I think I will just stop reading more here, since I think it's kind of close to times, and I just conclude with one final point about going back to the point of why, when we understand Krishna to be the cause of all causes, then one can actually become fully surrendered to Krishna. And I think so far as I explain, when we understand that Krishna is actually the creator of this, of everything that we see in the manifested world, then we understand that nothing actually belongs to us. So the real devotees, they're able to see Krishna everywhere. There is no duality in vision. They only see the absolute vision that everything is connected to Krishna. Just like Srila Prabhupada, he see everywhere is the opportunity to serve Krishna, understanding also that everything belongs to Krishna is meant for his service. Just like the conclusion of Bhagavad Gita, chapter 3, I believe, to realize that Krishna is a proprietor, the controller, and the friends of everyone. Krishna is a proprietor, meaning everything actually belongs to him because he created them. So that's why everything actually belongs to him. Just like sometimes we think that, oh, I create, let's say, I keep thinking about music. Like I create this very nice tune, so this tune belongs to me, or I create this poem, so this poem belongs to me. So Krishna created everything. I can only say in the material world because that's as far as I understand, but also there's even more to understand in the spiritual world what's going on up there. But Krishna is the cause of all causes. So he is the proprietor of everything exists. Even our own spirit soul, our own self. We come from him. So he's the proprietor and he's the controller, meaning he has his own power to say how he likes to use his things by his controlling potency. So our responsibility is to just be an instrument to how Krishna wants me to use this object, this thing for his service, because everything ultimately meant for me. He's also the ultimate enjoyer as well. And so even I'm thinking even about our own abilities, whether we are able to sing very nicely, whether we are able to bring many people to Krishna consciousness. We sometimes, I think, when we are not able to fully surrender is when we think we actually the doer, instead of thinking that Krishna is actually the one who engaged me in this activity. He is the doer. I'm just the instrument, the puppet in his hands. And so when we understand that even my ability, even my senses, like, yeah, Krishna is also the Hishikesha, the owner of my senses. He's the owner of everything, even my ability, my intelligence. He gave me the ability to think. He gave me the ability to understand. And if he doesn't want to, he can just withdraw them at any time, and I would be fully in being covered by my so we have to really kind of introspect and reflect, and like, how do I use everything that I have here in this material world, which are all actually impersonal. But how do I use all of that in his service, so then I can actually realize of my own identity of his servant. So I will end here. I'm sorry, I always don't leave a lot of time for discussion. So thank you so much, dear devotee, for being here and hearing class. So any comments, any reflections? Yes, Yasudev Prabhu.
Haribol Parameshwari Prabhu, thank you so much for your enthusiastic Bhagavatam class. I hear your excitement in discussing the content, and it makes me feel excited too. But as I'm listening to you, I'm wondering, what is the problem? You made such a clear argument for the nature of God because of what is evident in the creation, its convenience, its functionality. what is it you said? Elegant and intricate. Why is it that atheistic people, and even sometimes our own devotees, are struggling to appreciate the artist? Why is it that we struggle to see what is so obvious, that this world is designed for life?
Hmm.
Can you help me to understand? Because I'm just scratching my head, like so confused by this.
Yeah, that's such a good question. I think I probably, I question the same thing. I mean, even myself sometimes, I don't fully understand or fully appreciate, like you said, the artist. And one thing that came to my mind, I can only just reflect on myself, is because of that tendency to compete with God, that I want to create just like God. I want to enjoy everything, that everything is here for my own enjoyment. I want to enjoy separately from him. I don't want to serve him. And so Krishna created the whole world for us to enjoy. And when we are in that mentality of being the enjoyer, being Lord of all the surveys, that's kind of the mentality of the material conditioned souls, right? That even though we're very, very tiny and insignificant, we tend to think that, oh, I'm such this big, great person, have this great power. And so as I think the more that we think of ourselves as God in that sense, that then the more we become less appreciative of um, of what is provided for us by the Lord. And it's just like the atheistic people or the scientists, for example, they can produce like the thing, what is, how do I say that word, versalite, the thing that flying in the universe, satellite, how do I say this word? But anyway, yeah, the scientists, I don't even know if I spell it right, but yeah, the scientists saying that, oh, I can manipulate all of the ingredients in nature to create something so wonderful. I can create an artificial natural scene. And so it's just kind of like being bewildered by their own power of wanting to be the creator and being the controller. So the more that one is kind of wrapped up in that mentality, I think the more they will become less appreciative. But that's just my kind of quickly reflection for now. And yes, it have to go. Anyone else have any other thoughts regarding yesterday's Prabhu question? Yes, Nagari Krishna Prabhu.
Well, Parameshwari David, thank you so much for leading the ladies of our community. You never shy to give Bhagavatam class. Our ladies have so much of wisdom, but due to modesty and other finer feminine qualities, they are very shy to share. So thank you for always stepping forward to talk about the glories of the Lord. So I think the answer to Yashoda's question is precisely what you presented, in that Krishna's creation is a lot more extensive than the living entity's creation. And as you're reading from the second canto, I think, yeah, one purport where basically, because Krishna, he creates from potency. I think, yeah, Prabhupada was saying he doesn't create like a blacksmith. He creates from potency. So the tendency of the subsidiary creators is to get covered over. Just like Brahma himself, as the leader of the universe, he got covered over by lust towards his own daughter. And his sons had to actually correct him. So if Brahma can get covered over, what to speak of the lesser living entities? Even in Krishna's presence, one can actually not see that Krishna is indeed the primary creator. For example, like Duryodhana, Krishna came before the kings and princes of the Kurus, and he showed his universal form to them all. And still, Duryodhana thought, I can actually capture Krishna. So even though he showed so much of power, he still thought that, no, we'll just capture Krishna, the Pandavas will get demoralized, and then we'll win. In any military confrontation, we'll win because Krishna won't be there. So it's quite extraordinary how the living entity can get covered over, that even when the Supreme Personality of Godhead himself is there, Sri Radha Damodar appearing in their deity form, they're right here. We can actually see them. It's not something that's abstract. But still, we can come before the Lord and be in Maya. It's really extraordinary. So this is the potency of the Lord. And so therefore we have to just every day offer our obeisances to him and, be grateful that we are not in this illusion where we don't recognize him as a supreme artist. So when we wake up feeling like how Yashodeva expressed how he's feeling, this is a great fortune when we feel this way. And not everybody has this great fortune. So thank you for reminding us of this.
Thank you so much for your encouragement earlier, and also for sharing your also some insights that you have. And yeah, thank you so much for sharing that as well. And it's truly a great fortune when Krishna gives us those vision, and yeah, it's really the desire of the living entities, right? Like if we want to be covered over, then Krishna cover us. If the living entities wants to actually understand Krishna becoming his humble servants, and he facilitate. And it's very true that sometimes even when we stand in front of the deities, we also don't actually recognize them for who they are. And then we have to, but then I think just that the awareness that I'm standing in front of a deity right now, but why do I not see Krishna? Krishna, please help me. Then that awareness that I'm standing there, but I don't see, and then that is where we can get the prayer that Krishna, please help me to see you. Otherwise, without that awareness, we just think that we're doing okay, we continue practicing bhakti, we okay. But here Krishna said in Srila Prabhupada explained in this verse that yes, one may associate with devotees and read authorized books, but it may still take many births. So we want to kind of just expedite to come back to Krishna as fast as we can. Okay, I'm going to read the comments. Thank you, Lila Kishore, Mother Lila Kishore, for your reflection as well. Very, very nice reflection, also connected to the class from yesterday. That, you're the functional example of a composer that creates a melody and believes that the music actually is his creation. Yeah, this also complements the class given yesterday, because time is Krishna, it doesn't belong to us, so we must choose to spend time wisely in the service of the Lord. Yes. Yes, anyone else? I very much appreciate the devotees who contribute and richer, make the conversation become even richer by your sharing and reflecting. So thank you so much. I know that it's a little bit over time.
Hare Krishna, I want to thank you for a really wonderful class. I am so excited and enthused by your presentation. I really appreciate the fact that you are diving deeply into the ocean of understanding that is our Shastra and Srila Prabhupada's purports. There's so much there to appreciate. And although it's self-effulgent, you have managed to shed additional light on what is already self-effulgent. And I really like the way that you drew a common thread through so many different verses to illuminate these wonderful details. You are a connoisseur of our Vaishnava philosophy. You are relishing every fine detail, and then you're able to share that appreciation with us in wonderful ways. So it's fantastic. It's great. It's wonderful. I'm so excited to see you do these things and to have the opportunity to hear your realizations. It's very enlivening and uplifting for me. So, and these are the things that I live for. This is great. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much for such your kind words and encouragement. Thank you so much. I'm grateful for Krishna for using me as his instrument. So thank you so much for your kind words and encouragement. So I guess we can conclude here. Thank you, dear devotees, again, and until next time. Grantara Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. All glory to the assembled devotees. Hari Hari Bol.